Video is going to have a different tone than a lot of my content, so if you are looking for a gentle scroll. A lot of us have good hearts, but we haven't learned to fight. We look and we see clearly the things that are happening, but it's with an idle love. It is not with an active love that knows that you have to fight for what you love. You have to fight for it or you will lose it every single time. Amazon, the government, all of these things, borders, it's fictions. They're all lies. They're all relatively new. And we treat them as if they are as immutable as the fucking sunrise, and they're not. And we need to fight, and we need to do a better job of fighting. Love is active. And sometimes that action is saying, hey, step the fuck up. Show me that you have love. Do you have love for this world? Do you have love for the people around you? Show us. Do something about it. And yes, everything that's happening right now is crushing. It is a weight that we can scarcely bear, but you know what? We have to bear it. We have no choice. This is the world we live in. This is where we are. And we get to decide who we are and who we want to be, how we want to show up in this most vital time. Start by saying no to something every single day. Just say no, whether it's to a family member who keeps trying to drag you back into a way of thinking or a person that you don't want to be, tries to enforce on you a way of thinking, an ideology that you do not want. Whether it is Facebook or Amazon, say no to something. That's a sacred no. And no is the beginning of creation. Do you want to live in a country that still enslaves people? Do you? Well, we do. What are we going to do about it? We have to fight. And a lot of y'all still think that it's wild that I say stuff like marching down the street with a sign isn't going to do shit. But do you see now what I was talking about when I made that video like 2 years ago and you all got mad at me for it? Do you see what I'm talking about? We need to fight. That's not fighting. That's releasing steam. That's making ourselves feel better, feel like we did something or said something. It's not strategy. It's reaction. They built that in. That's why there are police, to make sure that those demonstrations remain idle demonstrations. They are not actually shows of love. They are to show ourselves that we can say what we have to say and then go back to our lives, to the lives that we have been corralled into by this evil overculture. It is true that we are losing our ability to live on this planet. It's starting to kick us off. Why? Because of the people who we allow to govern us. And is it difficult to fight them? Of course it is. Yes, it is. But the cracks are showing, and it's showing how fragile this is. And it's showing that their priorities are not our priorities. And since they are not, their governance is not valid. And we have to say no. If we love each other, if we love this planet, if we love the ability to continue having the only life that we know we will have, what are we going to do about it? Are we going to fight? And don't take this to mean I'm saying go rush the barricade somewhere. That is not what I'm talking about. They are ready for that. They are not ready for any of the other strategies that I have talked about here. Strategies that have been employed time and time again. And yes, there is a place for a certain kind of resistance. There needs to be that. But probably, if you're listening to this, you're not one of the people that's going to be engaged in that part of the resistance, or you would not be here listening to me. You would be out somewhere doing that. And also, you would not be talking about that on any of these platforms. And remember this, when I say fight, I'm not talking about fighting your comrades, okay? I'm not talking about fighting the people who you know are on your side. I'm talking about all the other people that you interact with, that you just let slide and give a pass. That is what the overculture needs, especially from y'all folks. And I'm not letting anybody off the hook for their pandemic behavior, right? That's part of it. Yes, the systems failed us. Yes, the government failed us, hung us out to dry, made us go back to work. And since people had to go back to work, they're like, well, I'm just going to take my chances. That's what they wanted. That's why so many people are still getting sick, getting LC, because we didn't fight, because we let them impose their will upon us. We let them impose their will upon us every day. And we have to say no. The people don't want this. We don't want this. And we're going to stop it. One way or the other. Let every city and town inundated. Let every fire. Let every flood. Let everything that's being done to us, because it's not just happening. this was done to us. They have known about the climate change effects for 100 years, and they just lied about it. And that was done to us. Okay, borders, something that's done to us. Racism, it's something that's done to us. Misogyny, something that is done to us, taught to us, enforced by structures. And we uphold those structures. We are not divorced from the harm caused to each other as long as we continue to uphold it and we don't fight. And fighting in small ways every day is actually the fight. It's not about one big dramatic action. It's about making your love visible by doing a little bit every day, by doing a little so that no one else has to do a lot. It's about doing your part so that we don't have another generation of people who fought for everybody else and then got wiped out. Another group of, like the Ferguson activists. Where are most of them now? The state got them. Why? Because we didn't fight. Because we let them do the fight for us, and we stood aside and went along with what the overculture wanted. We did not fight hard enough. We did not maintain that fight. We did not show our love. That is what's missing. Okay? It's not just that there are evil people governing us. There are. There very much are. And they will loot the store and watch us all perish before they stop what they're doing. We have to say no. If we love each other, we are going to fight back. Add the word fight to the word love in your head, or you don't love it. There is no relationship in your life that matters to you that you will not fight for. And if you would not fight for it, that is not love, right? And even if that means fighting yourself, fighting your fear, fighting your misgivings, fighting your own tendencies, you've got to fight. You've got to fight. Love, solidarity. We're going to get through this. It's not all of us are going to get through it. It's going to be hard. It's going to be the hardest time of our lives. But we either lay down or we join hands, we fight, and we win because the empire is showing how weak it is. It's collapsing around our ears. That's why they're doing so much. Don't ever forget that. A dying animal fights hardest. And this beast is going to try and take as many of us down as it can. And it will only do that if we don't say no.